there was this documentary, right, that I watched a long time ago, not too long ago, but a long time ago, about this festival. Some of y'all may know, and I'll pull it up. The Fyre Festival, right? So for our listeners, what you're seeing, what's being shown is what the Fyre Festival was supposed to look like and what it really did. So it was supposed to have all of the, the luxuries in life, which is the yachts, the personal cook, the great place, the music, all that great stuff. And let me play this over. And it ended up being raggedy tents, cheese and bread and no music and everything like that, right? The reason why I'm bringing it up is because people want their money back. Actually, people paid to be there, right? And this was 4 years ago, and pretty much the attendees, from what I read between this article, what was that, New York Post or something?
New York Post.
Yep, New York Post. And then, of course, my minority behind went to Baller Alert. Baller Alert reported they were only going to get paid back $250. Right? So not only are the attendees paid for a crazy amount of travel fare, but the tickets I heard was not cheap. Not cheap at all. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because the power of social media and influencers is crazy, right? So if I bring up this video again, and listeners, I got y'all, right? But at the end, there was a post, right? Let me bring it up right here. I'll pause it. So all the influencers, and they paid a good amount of money to like Kylie Jenner, and a whole bunch of other influencers, where they had this orange box and everybody would post it all on Instagram, and it just like took over the whole internet, to where people were like, yo, what is this? And so then they started seeing the promos of the yachts and the famous people and the models and everything else, which painted this picture of, I have to go, right? I have to go. And I look at that from a standpoint of, though it went wrong, really bad, really wrong, really bad, right? There is still a lesson that I would love to go over one day about the Fyre Festival, which made me think of like a really dope idea of like, we watch a movie and then we break it down with some of our audience. That would be really dope. It's a different idea for another day. Don't ask me about it for tomorrow. But anyways, but the documentary broke down all the social media situations that they done to bring people to this island, for them to feel so hyped, regardless of that there wasn't so much information out there. There wasn't really true confirmation. They really just went on a limb and like, because they saw it on social media, right? So unfortunately, and if any of our listeners actually paid to go to the Fyre Festival, we apologize if this may sound a bit insensitive. I promise you that's not the whole thing. But I think that whole Fyre Festival thing, the marketing side of it, not the execution side of it, was genius. Right. It was genius. It's giving me ideas of, okay, what can I give? Because we're dealing with the 120 series. What can I give some influencers for them to be excited about and post? Clearly not paying the amount of money that they did. Sorry, influencers. Sorry. But what can we give them that could be in uniform, that everybody sees it and wants to be a part of it as well, what are the different promos that we have to put out that is like, yo, this is what's going to happen. This is the vibe. This is the feeling. This is the emotion that I'm going to have. This is the energy that's about to be there. This is the kind of lifestyle I'll be living after this. Oh, this is amazing. So with every bad situation, there is something we could learn from it, right? Now, granted, my man, I think, went to jail or is still in jail, bankrupt, the whole nine, right? It was just really bad. Hold on. For real, I'm sorry. As much of a Ja Rule fan I used to be, I still can't take him serious after that whole, like, I can't take business moves serious. Now, granted, what he probably got caught up with is the whole, let us find a rapper and let's attach this and he's the face, but really it's other people that's running it, right? So Ja Rule probably just got caught up. Ooh, what happened to that? Got caught up in that whole situation of let me be the face of the actual festival, right? But come on, my guy. Like, you didn't want to back up after you saw certain things happen and you didn't want to speak on it. You just so it was just weird. But I thought it was cool to cover because we have to remember how dope that marketing situation was, regardless of how bad everything ended up. The fact that we saw bread and cheese and lettuce, and that's what people got to eat. And you heard that plumbing was bad, food was scarce, you lived in a evacuation tent. I don't know. What's your take?
Yeah, no, I mean, they marketed a fancy camp trip, camping trip is what it looks like, and did a phenomenal job. But I mean, number one, I think this goes to reiterate, and for those who jumped on this and saw this opportunity 4 years ago, this goes to show the power of influencer marketing, right? Yes. And I know that that's something that's popular in the industry, but we haven't really talked about it much, at least not on our podcast, but it really shows. I mean, there are some studies now that are coming out that are saying, within the next 10 years or so, you can really expect influencer marketing to almost be the only source of marketing and will outgrow or outdo traditional marketing by a landslide, right? At least that's what studies are saying right now, which I think for them to do it, a couple years back, it really shows that they were almost ahead of their time in a sense. Yeah. The other part of it that I still can't just, work on or move on without really speaking about is, of course, the desperation to hang on to money or tie yourself and do everything related to money to do, because you talk about man, did Ja Rule not see, or why would he not back out? And I think there's no better way to explain that, or nothing else to speak to other than the fact that it's a desperate move for money, right. And that's part of it, where we can see many people who are, coming up on this topic of this person is a scam artist or this or this or that. I never think that, at least I like to tell myself this so I can keep my heart pure. It's I never think that anybody is out to intentionally hurt others or another, a group of people. But desperate times call for desperate measures, I guess. And that's the part that is as best as you can, try and avoid that, right? At some point, marketing and branding is phenomenal and we do want to believe to that. But to sell people a broken promise, it's in business, there's no way you can come back from that. Back in the day, when you think about how were businesses in the 30s and the 40s able to kind of grow their brand, it was all reputation, right? There wasn't social media back then. There wasn't any of those things. So although you might have a phenomenal sales and blow it out the mark or the ballpark that one time, just remember that your reputation, this guy now serving time in jail and all this other stuff is was it really worth it? Right. And it's nah, not really. I don't think so.
No. Well, I mean, the thing I did, did do some research before this podcast where, he was like, too many people invested for him to not do it, like not try to execute on it. Now, that's a bad judgment call, right? But I could semi-understand it. Like if you have so much, this is where it's like you have so much belief that it is unbelievable, right? In real life. Like how do you tap back into reality when you dream so big that the only thing that's so important to you is to execute on it, and you're not seeing the problems. You're not seeing it from a reality standpoint, because we hear so many, this could go into a deep conversation. So I'm going to try to tread lightly. After show. I'm trying to tread lightly, but where is there a check-in? Is there a milestone? Whatever it is that you get a reality check of, okay, I'm dreaming big and I understand I have to dream big because everybody tells me to dream big. So I'm going to do this music festival of umpteen many people. I'm going to have all these great people come and everything's going to be fine. Okay, we don't have all the details just yet, but I have faith that it's going to work. I have faith. And now we're in the last week and you still have faith?
Right.
We're now in the day of.
You still have faith?
You still have faith? We're in the mix. We're here. You still have faith?
Right.
Like, where does the switch go back to reality and be like, hold on. Let me get this right. Let me just be honest. But I think the problem was that he was lying through the whole time.
Right.
Like he lied to his investors. He lied to the people. He even tried to continue to lie even before the trial and things like that. I think now he's not lying. There's no point. But I think that conversation needs to come into, like, when we dream so big, because I always believe in dreaming big, but I also have a sense of reality as well, right? Almost sometimes to a point where it stops me from dreaming the biggest, right? And we'll talk about that in the after show. But where is there such thing as dreaming too big without the reality check? Is that good to not have a reality check, or at least, this is where a team is needed.
I was waiting for you to finish.
My bad.
I was waiting for you to finish.
I'm sorry.
And I was like, yep, this is exactly where it happens. Absolutely. That's where you insert, there's got to be some person or a group of people that you give permission to, if you care about that. And I think all people should care about that. You should care about, not doing wrong by people. You should care about, returning loyalty. If that's something you stand on and it's been given to you, you should care about giving that back to people. So you're the visionary. By all means, stretch, run, grow, aim high, go beyond the moon and all those cliche things that they tell you when it comes to dreaming big. Yeah, do those things. Yeah. But have a group of people by your side that you give permission to be like, no. Hold on a second, player. You've gone a little bit too far now. You've broken the rules.
But maybe there was people who said something. I believe there would be. And is it to the point, and this is where our flightassessment.com, right? Because I am a pilot and a flight attendant, right? So where at certain points, maybe his people love and skills went completely down and went all the way like, this has to work. I don't care what you say. I'm going to make sure this is happening. Maybe not as what everybody envisioned it to be,
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, Nick, I think from seeing a lot of these scenarios happen, most of the time, those people gain so much influence and power that they often intimidate people on their teams, and they never have people that really tell them. Like, even if that was a part of the plan, to be like, hey, okay, I give you permission to tell me when I'm being crazy.
Yeah.
I think when you are around someone who is that attached to their dream or their goal or their vision, it intimidates you from saying anything. And as a matter of fact, you buy into what they're doing because you really believe, like, yo, this person is about to help us discover a new planet in West Africa. They said is there, and you start buying into it. And I remember the example of WeWork's founder, Adam Newman. There's a phenomenal documentary on that whole story on Amazon. And I think I may have shared it with you a couple months back, but they talk about, how can this company be worth tens of billions of dollars, literally a week away from going public, and they crumbled because they couldn't cover up the lies anymore. So they did the whole documentary talking, asking his people, so what was it like? What was happening? And he had them doing the most off the wall stuff ever. But as they talk about their experience at the time it was happening, they really bought into what was taking place. So I think that while we say, yes, have team, I also believe that it becomes very difficult for the team to speak up because, it's like part of you being on the team is to buy into the mission.
Right.
So it's definitely a sticky situation, but yeah, it's interesting when that comes up. But the proper thing to do is, get somebody who can be bold enough to be like, no, hold up.
I agree.
After show.
Yeah,